Hi, sorry I haven't posted in a while. A lot of stuff's been going on in my life, and I've been very busy. I'm actually on vacation right now, and I figured that this would be a good time to shoot some stuff. I brought some stuff with me that I've been meaning to film for a couple months. We're going to start right off with the Diamond Selects Crow figure from this past year. Again, I'm not at my normal place, so do bear with me here as I don't have my normal setup. The Crow. Why the Crow? I grew up in the 90s, and this movie to, 15-year-old kid was amazing. Um, the soundtrack especially. That's the whole reason, you really got into The Crow, was because of that fucking awesome soundtrack. Like, so much good shit at the time. Now you listen back to, oh, this is cringe at times, but some of it still holds up. But the real reason is I'm actually a huge fan of James O'Barr's comic. And I, of course, had read the comic after the original movie came out, and it blew my mind. For somebody like me, it was very depressing and not at all like the movie. The movie is all Hollywood tropes. Eric has a guitar because, it's the 90s. The villains kill him because they're trying to sort of do this. And the comic is much more, it was all random circumstance. It was all just tragic, but it was nothing that could have been done. Eric and Shelley weren't being hunted down by these people. They were just a couple broken down on the side of the road. And the comic was absolutely dark. O'Barr's art was very, very graphic, and you could tell that there was a lot of pain put into it. But the comic also had all these great quotes from Voltaire and bands like The Cure. Like, a lot of the music that I ended up finding in life, granted I grew out of this, was through that book. And one of my favorite poems of all time is in that book. My kitten dwells, something like that. I don't have it with me, and I don't have it memorized like I used to when I was a kid. You gotta remember, I bought this comic when I was 15, 16. I'm in my 40s now. So, it's been a long time. I do read it every so often. I have a couple copies of it. But because of that, and because of the fact that, I do love the original movie, I did decide to pick up this figure. And I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and get it open. We'll talk about it. Now, I do have the original McFarlane figure somewhere. It's so old now the Crow won't even stay attached. The guitar strap's broken. I might have an unopened one somewhere too. I collected so much crap over the years. Let's go ahead, we're going to hit pause, I'm going to come back, we're going to take a look at the figure and the accessories. Real quick, let's take a look at the back of the box before I show you the figure itself. It has a lovely picture of Brandon Lee looking up towards something. You see the Crow in the background. The Crow is a tale of a young musician, Eric Draven, who along with his fiancée is murdered on the eve of their Halloween wedding. Exactly 1 year after the deaths, Eric is risen from the grave by a mysterious crow to seek out his killers and force them to answer for their crimes. This 7-inch action figure of Eric Draven is based on the appearance in the 1994's The Crow. It features over 16 points of articulation and character-appropriate accessories. Designed by Yuri Timig, sculpted by Chris Dahlberg. So again, this is based off of the movie, so he is a rock musician. And again, murdered on Halloween, comes back a year later. The Crow, of course, spanned a very, very large media empire, and a lot of people don't realize it. They only think of this movie and maybe City of Crows, forgetting that there were 2 other movies, they suck, a TV show, which was okay, and a lot of comics. Most of them are okay. The problem is once the movie was all made for Hollywood, it had to follow certain tropes. And they do almost the same thing for Wolverine. You have an unstoppable killer. Let's do some way to take away their powers. You can almost go for every movie. Deadpool does it as well in the second Deadpool. it should have been much. The comics themselves border sometimes on horror, sometimes on science fiction, but there's always that necessity. They don't have their powers taken away, but each one gets brought back and has different rules. Whereas the movies is always, you hurt the crow, the bird, you hurt the man, and it really makes no sense. But it's there to make suspense for the moviegoer. But I digress. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. All right, so here we have Eric, or the Crow, or whatever you want to call him, as he is. He's got the guitar, which is strung across his chest, even though he usually carries it strung across his back. I do like that this does come with this nice rain backdrop. It does look cool, makes it stand out just a little bit more. He does come with a tombstone. He comes with a flying version of the bird. We're going to try to sit on the tombstone unsuccessfully. He comes with a perched version of the crow. And an alternate hand with a hole in it so you can pretend that Fun Boy just shot him. But let's go ahead and take a look at the figure itself. Let's go ahead and bring him out here. Bring my camera up. Alright, let's take a look at this mold. Here we got his face. You do see it is very well painted. And I do like that it looks run down. It looks like the makeup has been washing off. And with that rain background, it does give it that much more of a pop. But as you can see, it does a very good likeness of the late Brandon Lee. See, the head can only turn side to side. You do get elbow. This rotates. This comes out so you can put the other hand there. There's a back. It does come out. He has the classic Kenner Star Wars crotch. I do like all the noise that this gives. It gives it almost like it's actually like leather. But yeah, not much for the way of articulation. You do get hip rotation. Feet. Looks like they go up and down. Oh, you do get some like cool. It is a ball joint. Alright. But as you can see, he of course has his wedding ring here. It's an alright figure. It is what it is. I mean, I wish he would have come like with a gun or a sword or something to further do like part of the movie, but it does look cool. It will look really good on my Halloween displays come October. Overall, this is a figure if you're a collector of the Crow. It's not going to be, or 90s movies in general, it's not going to be one of those ones where every single person has to have it. Can't rain all the time. But it is what it is. I do like it. I do think it looks good. And again, I do like that it comes with that backdrop, so you get that nice rain effect. Is it worth it for everybody? Nope. Is it a cool one to have for display? Sure. But other than that, it is what it is. Please tell me what you think, whether you liked, didn't like, what you want to see. Comment down below, subscribe. Again, not much to talk about. It's pretty much just a statue with bendable parts. You can do some posing, not much though. So it's not like a Hasbro figure where you get a bunch of articulation and poses. But it does look good, and again, it'll look really good on either a Hollywood shelf or some sort of Halloween shelf, or I said that, didn't I? Or some sort of like 90s movie shelf if you're a fan of 90s movies. But yeah, thank you again. Have a great day.